Welcome to the Mailvalet training videos. This video provides a brief general overview of how to set up the Mailvalet app. All of the application setup is accomplished by tapping the Setup button on the main window as shown here. This video explains the purpose of each function that you see in the Setup pop-up in a general way. Each individual function is covered in more detail in later videos. The first item we'll cover is the Set Account for Outgoing Emails function. You'll notice that right below that are two example email accounts that are provided with Mailvalet at installation. These are not configured to send or receive emails, but they are provided for demonstration purposes so that you can see how the email accounts appear in all the different views. And we will use the first of these as an example for this first function. We need to set an account as the outgoing account, the account used to send emails that you want to send to one of your recipients. To do that, we will tap on that account that we want to use and then tap on Set Account for Outgoing Emails. Once you do that, you'll get a confirmation that the selected account, in this case example, delete me after review, has been set as the sending account, and you can simply press OK. At that point, from then on, that account will be the account used to send outbound emails unless you come back later, make a different selection, and then tap Set Account for Outgoing Emails again. Anytime that you do that, you'll get a new confirmation that that account that you just selected is now going to be used as the sending email account for all of your outbound emails. So you can change which account you send from that quickly at any time that you want. Now we will clear this second operation complete confirmation and look at the next function, which is to update folders. Mailvalet allows you to create any number of different folders inside an account, which you can use to either manually move emails to once you've received them, or where you can set up rules that will automatically route incoming emails to those new folders. So all of the setup for folders that you want to use in the future inside the account, other than those which are default, which come automatically when you add a new account, are set up using the update folders. We'll, as an example, click on this, which will bring up a dialog that will allow us to configure individual folders. We will cover that in a later dialog, and at this point go back just to look at an overview of the remaining functions in setup. So we'll clear that, tap again on setup, and the next function we're going to look at is updating email profiles. Mailvalet gives you the ability to start with either a new email that you have created and filled in, or to take an email that you have received and turn that into a model email, which we call a profile, which can be saved in a profiles folder and then selected later and used as a model for new outgoing emails that you want to create in a very quick way. You can select an existing profile, and most of the fields, or perhaps all of the fields that you need to fill in before you send the new email, will already be in place. Then you probably will have minor modifications to the email from the profile values to make it exactly what you want to send out. This isn't to handle situations where you have repetitive emails at different times that you send out that has very similar content, where each email from time to time changes a little bit but has very similar content in most cases. Just as an example of this, we will go ahead and tap on Update Email Profiles, and that will bring up a new pop-up which has the individual email profile functions. As before, we will cover this in more detail in a later video, and we will go back to setup and just continue the overview of available functions. Now we will click on Setup again, and the next function that we want to look at is updating email auto-routing rules. Mailvalet gives you the ability to either manually create rules which will move emails as they are received into whichever folder you decide they should go into automatically without you having to manually move them. Or you can automatically create rules by using an automatic function that we'll discuss in a later video, selecting emails that you want to move from your inbox or from some other folder and move them to a new folder, at the same time creating a movement rule which will, from that point on, automatically send them to the new folder without you having to do the moves again. As an example, again, we will select Update Email Auto Routing Rules, which will bring up a dialog with all of the details for creating rules manually. There are other ways of creating the rules. We will show also later the way to automatically create rules without having to go through this dialog simply by moving emails from your inbox to a new designated folder. So now we'll close the Rule Updates dialog, click on Setup again, and look next at updating email accounts. Email accounts are either added, changed, or deleted using the Update Email Accounts function. And as an example, we'll go ahead and bring up the account selection dialog. From this point, we are able to select an existing account to change it or to add a new account, and that will go to another more detailed dialog to set up all the details of the account. For purposes of this overview demo, we will not go into that at this point. So we will close this, tap on Setup again, and then continue now with the next function, which is to configure HTML and text recipients. With any email client that you use, some of the recipients who will receive your outbound emails they will all use different email client programs to receive those emails. Some have more capabilities than others do. Some can receive only text-based emails. Others can receive HTML-based emails, which can contain inline pictures and things of that sort. This function, Configure HTML and Text Recipients, allows you to set up your individual recipients to receive either HTML or text-based emails. And again, as an example, in this overview, we will select the function and bring up a dialog which we will cover in more detail very shortly in a different video, which allows you by individual recipient to set the emails that are sent to them from MailValet as either text-based emails or HTML-based emails. Again, at this point, we will close this dialog, go back to Setup again, and cover the last two items. The acknowledgments function is simply a display which will give credit for third-party development packages that have been integrated into MailValet. As you can see here, once you bring it up, you can scroll through and see the individual acknowledgments, and then simply close the dialog. We'll go back now to set up once more and mention again the close this dialog function, which is just there as a convenience. As in other cases, you can either tap that and close the dialog, or you can tap outside of the dialog to close it as well. This concludes the training video on the overview for the setup functions.